Hi, everybody. Welcome to the next edition of Junction City News. I am Regina Mahoney, the city manager for Essex Junction, and I have
Pavilion building. And also something new for this time, we're going to be directing traffic to not go out the way they came in like we normally do, but to follow the road down to past the shopping centers to come out by the VFW, and that will make it safer for all the cars and everyone. There's a lot of activity at the fairgrounds. Late afternoon and evening there will be people dropping off kids to play soccer, and so could get very dangerous if we tried to go out the way we came in.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So that is helpful. So for folks who have been voting in Essex Junction, this is the place that we've been the last few times that we have voted. And so you're going to enter in the same place that you normally would, the main entrance, which is showed up with a yellow label here on the map, and that's the main entrance to CVE. And then essentially you're going to stay in CVE, but take the road all the way behind the shopping centers and back out by the VFW. And we'll have some people there kind of directing traffic. But we recognize it's going to get dark quick. So just want to try to get the word out about this as much as possible. And it should be pretty smooth sailing with this new traffic pattern. Awesome. Okay, so if someone is not yet registered to vote, how do they go about doing that?
So there's a couple different ways. They can come into our office and they can fill out an application. They can register online through the Secretary of State's office and they go to the website olvr.vermont.gov, register there. They can also, if they come in to vote and they haven't registered, they can register right at the polling place.
On the day
Vermont has same-day voter registration. And all you need when you fill out the form is to put in your driver's license number. If you don't have a driver's license, you can put in the last four of your social security number. Okay. And that's all we need to put you on the voter checklist. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So the state of Vermont mailed ballots to all active registered voters as of September 23rd. How do residents cast their vote?
So up until now, people were able to drop them in the mail, and we were getting them through the mail. It's into our office because we can take them in and we enter them as they come in. That way we make sure nobody votes more than once.
Okay. But if folks are coming after hours, the drop box is there, and they can continue to put their ballot in the drop box through November 4th.
Right. It's going to be closed and locked on the morning of November 5th because on November 5th you would have to take the ballots to the polling place.
Great. Okay. All right. So if folks have not received their ballot by mail, what do they do?
Well, they should call our office or send us an email, and we will look into what happened. And you might have to sign an affidavit, but if you didn't get your ballot, you would just sign an affidavit that said your ballot was lost, and we can get you a new one. And that can happen at the polling place as well. Okay.
So they can either come into the office to do that, or again, come November 5th, everything happens at the polling place at CVE. Okay, great. And just so folks know, to call the office, it's 802-878-6944, option 7. And to email, it's clerks@essexjunction.org.
Right.
Okay, great. Where can folks get more information about the candidates?
Okay, so everybody in, I don't know if you can't see this card. Everybody who got ballots in the mail should have had a card like this inside, which has a link to the information about the candidates. You can also do it by going to my voter page, which is mvp.vermont.gov. So the Secretary of State reached out and asked all the candidates to provide some information, and they put it all in a document, and it's there for people to look at.
Great. Is that something new that the Secretary
That
of
is,
State's
yes,
office
they've never done that before. That's brand new for this time.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's move on to voting at the polls itself on Election Day. What happens if a resident shows up to vote and their name is not on the checklist, even though they have registered before the deadline?
Okay, so if it's not on the checklist, then I'll be there with the computer and I'll look up and see what happened, why they're not on there. They can register right there when they come into the polls.
Right.
And if everything is good, they can vote
Great,
right at that time. So, because there is no deadline in Vermont.
awesome, okay. Are residents required to show identification when they come to vote?
No, not in Vermont. We don't require proof of residency. You sign a statement when you register to vote that that is where you live, and you don't need to show ID when you come to the polls.
Okay, great. But it sounds like they might just need to have their driver's license number in order to register to vote.
Yeah,
Okay.
they should have that.
Okay, great. Okay, so what happens, this may have happened to me at some point, what happens if a voter makes a mistake on their ballot?
So if a voter makes a mistake, they bring it back to the ballot clerk, who takes the ballot and provides them with a new one. And they
Okay.
then tear that ballot in half and give it to the presiding officer or the city clerk who was there at the polls.
Okay,
And that goes in a special envelope marked replaced ballots and do not count.
okay, great. Will residents' ballots count if they only vote in a couple of races? So I think this means like you don't fill out every single question on the ballot.
Yeah, you don't have to fill out every single question. Just pay attention to how many people you can vote for in each category. Like most of them, it's vote for one, and if you vote for two, your vote for that category won't count.
Okay, got it.
But there's some, like for the Senate, it's vote for three, so you would want to vote for three.
Okay,
Or two, if you only want to vote for two.
right. Okay. Do residents have to vote for the candidates on the ballot?
You can write in a candidate's name. Just be careful when you're writing in on the ballot that you stay within the line. Don't, like if you're writing a name with a Y or a G, don't let it hang down below because it messes up the counting.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. Now, what about, are there any restrictions on anything that folks can wear demonstrating their favorite candidate when they show up?
So there's no campaigning allowed in the polling place. So that means that if a candidate, that you can't wear a T-shirt or a hat or a button with somebody's name on it. You would, if you had a T-shirt on, you'd have to cover it up or
Okay.
put it on backward, inside out or something, or take your hat off. But yeah, that's not allowed in the polling place.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Can a resident ask for help when they go to the polls to vote?
Yes, if they can ask election officials to help them, they also have the right to take anyone in the voting, we don't have voting booths, we have partitions. They can have someone, a family member or a friend, help them fill out the ballot.
Okay. Great.
We also have accessible voting machines that the Secretary of State has provided. So if somebody needs special assistance, they should ask an election official.
Okay. Great. And they'll point them in the right direction.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else you would like to add?
No, we just want everybody to vote on November 5th or before if you have your ballot already. If you have any questions, you give us a call. We're happy to answer your questions. And we've heard a lot of questions, a lot of reactions, so don't be afraid to ask us anything.
Yeah. It's, I think one of the questions I received that we still sometimes are receiving in the city of Essex Junction is where do I vote?
yes.
Because we've still got, some folks not quite sure if their address is in the city or in the town. And so really there is no question that should not be asked. So please feel free. We are around and available to help with any questions people have. And I think there's our photo of our official ballot drop box that is, you can sort of see there. It's right next to the fire station. And it is right next to the city offices, the temporary city office entrance, which a lot of folks may know of as the senior center location at 2 Lincoln.
Should we mention that the parking lot where it is may become available?
Yes, good point. So we are starting undergoing renovations at 2 Lincoln, the city office building. And so that back parking lot will become closed as some of the construction mobilization starts to happen. So folks can now, which is generally prohibited, but during the construction season for the next number of months, folks can park in the fire station parking lot. So the front of the fire station, only on the right-hand side when you pull in. And if you do that, the ballot box is basically kind of right in front of you when you pull into those spaces. So that ballot box is certainly very accessible. And again, you can use that through the end of Monday, November 4th. Then starting the morning of Tuesday, November 5th, it will be locked because starting at 7 a.m., you've got to go to our polling location at CVE.
Right.
Awesome. So on the screen is the contact information for Susan at the clerk's office, for Susan and Dan at the clerk's office. And so please feel free, again, to reach out if you've got any questions.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so a few other city items. We do have 3 different committees right now that we are looking for folks to volunteer and apply for. We have a governance committee for the city. This is a limited time committee that is looking to increase engagement in the governance of Essex Junction. And this is something that was in the charter to look at a variety of different questions since the governance structure was kept the same as the village trustees. And now that we're a city, taking a look at what that looks like. We also have a new Recreation Advisory Committee that is intended to be a long-standing committee and really intended to be a support committee for the Essex Junction Recreation and Parks and different programming and work that they do. Then we also have the Police Community Advisory Board. This is a board that works for the community in an advisory capacity to the police department. Essex Junction has a shared police department with the town of Essex. So this committee has 3 city members, 3 town members, and I believe we have 2 openings on the city side. So anybody interested in that work would be really great to get your application in. So hopefully folks will consider that. You can find that information on the city's website, essexjunction.org/boards/become a committee member. Okay, then also we've got some upcoming events. First is Election Day on November 5th that we've been talking about tonight, and so hopefully folks will get out to vote no later than November 5th. Also Veterans Day, the offices will be closed in honor of Veterans Day on November 11th. On November 16th, the Brownell Library will be collecting book and media donations from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So if you've got anything that you'd like to donate, please do that. Municipal offices are also closed on Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving. Then starting on November 29th, we've got the winter lights happening at the Maple Street Park from 5 to 8 p.m. So that will be very exciting. So as always, you can go to Town Meeting TV's website and or the city website to find all of our past editions of Junction City News, as well as this one that we've just aired tonight. The last episode was on the Transit-Oriented Development Master Plan project, otherwise known as Connect the Junction, and so still lots more going on with that project. And I think that's all we've got. Anything else you'd like to add?
I can't think of anything else. Just to encourage people to vote and to call us if you have questions.
Awesome. Great. Okay. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. And I hope you'll join us at our for our next episode. Thank you.